Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie, I am the Introverted Reader, and today's video is gonna be a little bit of a review on Isle of the Silver Sea by Tasha Suri. Now, I made this the book club pick for the month of March, and I am sorry to report that this was a DNF. I didn't finish it. And you're probably wondering, well, you don't usually do reviews for books, like book club picks that you DNF. You usually just DNF and move on. But for this one, I guess I just wanted to sit and talk about it for whatever reason. And I feel like I might try and do that just for every book club pick that I read, like depending on how far I get into it. Because I gave this book a fair shot, and like I'm almost halfway through it. There's just some things that I want to talk to you about. So I'm just going to set her there so you can see. It's a beautiful cover. But before we start, hydration's important. Anyway, so there is a lot about this book that I know that like would fit me perfectly. Like, it's got the whole fairy tale angle going for it. It's sapphic. It's felt really magical, felt really whimsical, stuff like that. But however, it didn't, it just did not hit, and I feel really bad about it because, I really wanted to love it. And there was some things that I did really like about it. There was, some quotes in there that I, have highlighted and stuff that, I thought were really beautifully written. I do think that Tasha Suri is a really beautiful writer. And, obviously we need more fairy tales about the girlies. Not just girlies that look like me, but like all the girlies. Like, I want to see more fairy tale stories about the brown skin girlies. I really, really do. So if you have any more suggestions for stuff like those, please leave them in the comments. But anyway, focusing on this. Okay, so this is basically set in a place called the Isle, which is basically Great Britain because it's set in London, right? And we're following our two main characters, Simran and Lavinia. Is that her name? I keep forgetting her name. Vinna. We'll just call her Vinna. So Simran is a witch, and she is a witch and Vinna is a knight, and both of them are what called incarnates of two people that okay, let me explain. So like the lifeblood of this place is stories, right? It is stories that keeps this place alive. And the two of them are incarnates of two people who are a part of one of the bigger stories of this land involving a knight and a witch that fell in love, but then ended up both dying because it was the knight's job to go out and kill the witch, but then he couldn't do it because he fell in love with her. But then after killing her, he killed himself. And then when that happened, these two now bear the burden of, carrying out the story and keeping the Isle alive. So I hope I explained that well enough. But yeah, it was kind of difficult for me to read this because I kind of felt that like, I've sitting and explaining it to you. I hope I've explained it well enough, but like the way it was all laid out kind of felt a bit, I don't know, convoluted almost. And I kind of had to sit and think about it for a bit and be like, so that's because you want to kill you. Like, you remember that part in like Parts of the Caribbean 4, I think it was, when Jack Sparrow stands in the air and it's like, so you want to fight him because you fight him on account of him wanting to kill him. It felt like that, me trying to sit and explain this to my 3 or 4 or 5 brain cells that are left in my brain. So but anyway, so like I said, Vinna is a witch, and obviously Vinna is a knight. And usually the incarnates of these people in these stories are born and bred on the Isle. But Vinna and Simran are not technically from the Isle. Like, Simran and her parents came there from a place called Elsewhere on a boat. And, you know, Vinna, her mother was from elsewhere, but her father is from the Isle. She's of mixed race. And she is an illegitimate child. And you know, little bit of a scandal going around her because her father is like a high ranking member of parliament. And even though she does have some form of a standing because she is a knight, you know, and works for the queen and stuff, she's not really taken seriously either by her father or really by anybody, you know. And she's, you know, constantly having to prove herself. And, you know, Simran, you know, because she's a witch, and, you know, the magic that she practices, everybody assumes that, like, oh, she must be like truly evil, she must be out to like curse everybody. And she's just like, no, it's just what I do, it's just who I am, you know. Like, Simran just wants to be left alone, and I fully support that. She's like, just leave me alone and let me like practice what I practice in peace, and, you know, let me live, okay? And so anyway, that's sort of like the basis of the description I can give you. And obviously the two of them come across each other, and obviously they know they have to carry out their story, but neither of them want to. Neither of them want to be a part of it. Like, they're just like, no, because then that means I'll have to kill you, and I don't want to kill you. Like, they're all like, I'm not even in love with you. Like, what's all that about? And listen, okay, for the most part, I did, whenever they first met each other, I kind of did enjoy the little bit of banter and flirting and whatever. But the more I read of it, the more I was like, I found myself not reading it because I really cared. Do you know what I mean? I just found myself reading more just as I could say I read more, and I didn't want to do that anymore. I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to, you know, I want to be reading this because I'm genuinely enjoying myself, whereas I just find myself not caring all too much, which makes me feel horrible. Because y'all know I hate DNFing books, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Um, yeah, but a few things that I did quite enjoy about this, I did really enjoy Tasha Suri's writing, I will say that. And I do think that I want to check out some of her other series. I know she wrote the book The Jasmine Throne, is that what it's called? I know she wrote that, and I've heard a lot of amazing things about that, so I might check out that trilogy. And a lot of, like I said, because these two women are not technically from this isle, they're from elsewhere, there's a lot of conversations about that and about like all these people from elsewhere coming to the isle. And there's even a part where someone was talking about how like people from elsewhere, they're stealing our jobs and doing this, that, and the other. And, you know, given some of the conversations we're having in Great Britain today, that hit home. So yeah, I thought all that was really interesting, and I love it whenever authors are able to do that, like taking some like real life issues that are happening today and interweaving them into their books, and, you know, just opening up some important conversations that we need to be having. And as well, what else did I like? What else did I like? Oh, and I also sort of like, there was this angle she went for as well, talking about like how a lot of the fairy tales out there always seem to favor the more demure, the the, you know, the meeky mannered, the small, meek, I guess, pale skinned princesses. You know, everything always seems to work out well for them, but, you know, for people that look like Simran or for people that look like Vinna, it doesn't always work out that way. Or there's, you know, all the other stories get told but not theirs. And I was like, I love that. I love that. That's a great concept. I'm here for that. Here for that, absolutely. But again, I am sorry to report, lads, just the more and more I read of this, the more and more I didn't care. And there was this weird part where we ran into some fae, and then we were just with this fae for a while, and it just felt completely out of place. It felt like we were on one end and now we're on like a weird side quest. And it's like, can we, like, what's with the chimp and the bug? Can we get back to if you got that reference, you're amazing. But yeah, more and more I read of it, the more I was like, I wish I cared, babes, but I really don't. and I still couldn't fully grasp the whole concept of like what we were meant to be doing and why we were doing it. And it was all just, yeah, I'm so sorry, babe. I'm so sorry. I wanted us to work out, but we just didn't. But like I said, I do really like Tasha Suri's writing. I think she's a beautiful writer, and I will be checking out the Jasmine Throne, hopefully at some point. So yeah, that's all I want to say about this. I'm so sorry this ended this way. If you loved this book, please, please, please do not, like, I'm not dumping on this book whatsoever. It had some really, really good qualities. It just wasn't for me. It did not work out for me, but if it's your favorite, then God bless. Anyway, so that's it. Let me know if you've read this, or do you agree with anything that I said, but like, I think if I were to give it a rating, we're maybe looking at a very low 3, or maybe even like a 2.5, because yeah, that's just what I'm feeling. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're all doing well. All of my socials are down below as always. My Blue Sky, Instagram and Threads, and my TikTok, they're all there. If you want to follow me, you can if you wish. Subscribe if you have not already. I would like to get to 500 subscribers. I'm over 450. Thank you so much to everyone that has subscribed. I love you. You're amazing. Thank you so much. And yeah, leave a like, drop a comment if you want, do all the things, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.